Sports Paws is officially back after winter break. And coming up, the Quinnipiac men's basketball team is off to their best start in 44 years. And now, they're looking to maintain sole possession of the #1 seed in the MAAC. Let's see how they fared.
Men's ice hockey headed to Hartford looking for their third straight CT Ice championship. Could they remain Kings of Connecticut?
Plus, Q30's Maeve Campbell joins us live for a look at everything that happened in Quinnipiac sports over the break.
Tino, Sports Paws starts right now.
Sports Paws is officially back, and we welcome you to the first show of the semester. Nick, we've got a lot of content to get into tonight.
You said it, Sino. No kidding. It's great to be back here in the studio to kick off the spring semester of Sports Paws with all of you.
Thanks,
first,
guys. A lot has happened in
Maeve
Quinnipiac
Campbell
sports over winter break. Let's jump right into the recap. In the world of ice hockey, former Quinnipiac goaltender Yaniv Peretz recently made his NHL debut. Peretz played for Quinnipiac in his freshman and sophomore years, but was signed following the national championship. He is currently under contract with the Carolina Hurricanes and made an appearance in the Pro Arena, recording one save during his debut match on January 15th versus the LA Kings. This was his first milestone as he transitioned from collegiate hockey to the professional ranks. With the accomplishment, he also became the first Quinnipiac goalie to ever play a minute in the NHL. Former Quinnipiac women's hockey players are also making their professional debuts. Former goalkeeper Corrine Schroeder has started every game, racking up a .946 save percentage. And last year's co-captains are finding their place, with Zoe Boyd having 3 assists so far and Lexi Agia having 3 goals and 2 assists. The Quinnipiac women's ice hockey team faced off against number 6 Minnesota Duluth in a weekend series. The weekend resulted in a win and a tie for the Bobcats as they won their first game 3-2 on January 5th and tied the next game 2-2 on the 6th. This was their first tie of the season, with their record standing 19-3-1 after the games. Moving from the ice rink to the basketball court, first-year guard Ava Soleni was named MAAC Rookie of the Week. Following a standout performance versus Niagara, Soleni led the Bobcats in scoring, dropping a career-high 30 points, shooting 10 of 14 from the floor and 5 for 8 from the three-point range. She's been a consistent contributor this season, playing in every game so far and securing 67 points. Men's basketball has had a record-breaking start to their season. They have a record of 15-4 overall and 7-1 in conference play, and are on a 7-straight winning streak for league games. The team is led by 6-year guards Matt Belanc and Savion Lewis. Belanc is currently second in the MAAC for points per game. Their strong start is giving them an upper edge gearing up for the MAAC tournament. That's all for our winter break recap. Nick and Santino, back to you guys at the desk.
After their historic start, Tom Pecora's squad looked to grab sole possession of first place in the MAAC against Mount St. Mary's on Thursday. The Bobcats haven't lost in the new year yet, coming off a thrilling win over Iona over the break. Meanwhile, Mount St. Mary's makes the trip north with just 1 win in their last 4. In the first half, Mount St. Mary's in transition, Paulo Tieno swats that ball away with authority. Savion Lewis feeds Otieno through the opening. He stuffs it home, getting it done on both ends. Big play for the captain out of Kenya. On the other end, press coming, Mountaineers break out of it. Deshane Montgomery throws it down. It's been a dunk fest so far. And here's Savion Lewis on the drive. Dusts his man, the lefty leg goes. He had 6 straight points to end the half. Bobcats enter the locker room up by 5. In the second, J.J. Riggins getting physical in the post here. He'll swing it out to Richie Springs and let the big man shoot. He's got it in him.
Somebody said stretch 4 right there.
You said it, but here comes Matt Belanc in transition, and it is yam time in Hamden, folks. Double-digit lead for the Bobcats. They are rolling, but the Mount isn't done. Dakota LaFew shakes Belanc on the perimeter, finds Ronald Jessamy, who jams it home one-handed. Put that on a poster, Tino. And it's LaFew to Jessamy again. This one off the inbound. He gets the mismatch here on Doug Young and finds the rack. But the late dunk fest wouldn't be enough. Belanc led the way with 18 points, and Quinnipiac wins it 79-65. They jump to sole possession of first place in the MAAC.
The Bobcats look to maintain their momentum as they faced off against their in-state rivals, the Fairfield Stags, on Sunday afternoon. The Bobcats and Stags split their season series last year. Let's find out who will get the upper hand in 2024. Quinnipiac travels to Fairfield as the in-state rivals battle for the top seed in the MAAC. It was a back-and-forth contest, but we're going to jump right into the second half because all of the action came in the final 4 minutes. Bobcats lead 55-51. Caleb Fields gets the and one layup to go in transition, made the free throw to cut the deficit down to 1, 55-54. On the next possession, Jalen Leach strips Reeve Avers and tells Matt Belanc to come upstairs, slams it down on his head, plus the foul to give the Stags the lead. Matt Belanc wants his revenge though. Cuts back door, slam time ties the game. Caleb Fields not done yet though. He takes over for the Stags on back-to-back possessions. First it's splash time from downtown, and he follows it up with another and one layup, 62-59 Stags with 2:39 to go. Now Reeve Avers, in his second game back from injury, in transition, he knocks down the deep triple to tie the game right back up. 1:29 to go now. Leach, he drives in on Amari Tice. He can't get it to go, but Bryson Goodine gets the putback to give Fairfield the lead. Now Lewis to Belanc. He goes baseline, goes horizontal on him to tie the game. Now it's clutch time. Matt Belanc, he drives in. Scoop layup with 3 seconds remaining. He hits the game winner. We'll see it one more time, Nick. What a play by the graduate captain. Almost loses the ball. Manages to finish it, though. What a play.
Belanc comes up clutch time once again. This game, what college basketball is all about, Tino.
Yeah, the Bobcats, they retain the top spot in the MAAC, beating Fairfield on the road 66-64, Nick. Men's basketball beat reporter Beckett Calkins delved deeper into the brewing rivalry between Quinnipiac and Fairfield.
Going into Sunday, Quinnipiac and Fairfield were the top 2 teams in the MAAC conference. The Bobcats have never won the MAAC, and the last time the Stags did it was 1997. The rivalry came true today in a huge MAAC matchup.
It's a great rivalry. This is great for the state of Connecticut. You know, UConn obviously are the national champs, and everyone knows about every little thing that happens there, but there's also really good basketball being played here and at our place and at Central and at Yale, obviously, and it's good. Like before the game, I came out early, a bunch of little guys here, a group of like 6 guys in 3rd or 4th grade, and man, it just brings me back.
The rivalry is not without respect, as Bobcats guard Matt Belanc said he loves the competition between Quinnipiac and Fairfield.
They got very good players, man. You know, I've played against Fairfield a while. You know, they've had guys like Taj Benning. You know, they've had shooters. You know, these dudes, these are good players, man. And you know, Caleb Fields is a grad student just like me. You know, I felt like there was a little bit. You know, he was talking to me during the game. He's a little like chirping stuff. I'm like, all right, I see this is the type of game it's going to be, but. Man, credit to them, man. They're a very good team, and I'm excited to play them again.
In one of the most entertaining games of the year, Fairfield interim head coach Chris Casey credits the location of the 2 schools as a driving force in the rivalry.
Both teams play their butts off. I mean, there's a natural rivalry there because of the proximity of the 2 schools, you know. So I don't know if there's a description for it other than both teams come to play and play really hard. I mean, if you're a college basketball fan, that's a great game you watched today.
This year's edition of the Fairfield and Quinnipiac rivalry is not over just yet, as the 2 teams will play in Hamden on February 23rd at 7 p.m. For Q30 Sports, I'm Beckett Calkins.
Back in Hamden, the women's basketball team also took on Fairfield this week. Things did not go as well for Trisha Fabry's squad against the Stags, though. Sophomore forward Ella O'Donnell went down with a wrist injury after an impressive finish in the first quarter, and the Stags cruised to a 74-59 victory. 3 Stags scored double-digit points, and first-year guard Megan Anderson dropped a team-leading 19. For the Bobcats, Grace Labard scored 15, Anna Foley scored 13, and Maria Keeley scored 12. The loss was the Bobcats' 3rd straight in conference. They look to bounce back on Saturday against Siena. Quinnipiac played host to Siena on Saturday. Saints coming into this game 5-3 in the MAAC. Quinnipiac looking to snap a 3-game skid in conference. First quarter. It's cookies for Carson Martin right off the bat. She strips the ball from London Gamble, breaks down the court, coast to coast with the righty lay through the contact. It is good. Later in the quarter, it's the German sophomore Elisa Mavius slicing inside. Look at the arc this ball gets off the glass. You thought that was good, though. How about this? 4 on the shot clock. Martin gets trapped, chucks up a shot, and the bank is open. What a shot. With the offhand, it's tied after 1. Second was a different story, though. Anisha Jackson from the wing buries it. 10-2 run for the Saints. Now it's Teresa Sapala. She dusts her defender for the bucket. Saints by 7 at the half. Third quarter, Maria Keeley, Irish Spring, green in the corner. Red hot, Anisha Jackson, though, step back 3, got it. Off the fast break, catch and shoot from the wing. Splash. Saints up by 14 as we hit the 4th. Ava Seleni, the walk-on here in the fourth, drills the step-back three. Game still within reach for the Bobcats, but this was the nail in the coffin. Jackson at the line. She misses, but the Bobcats fumble the rebound. Mavius grabs it, cuts to the rack, gets the bucket and the foul. She hit her free throws, and that would do it. Siena wins it in dominant fashion, 78-60. Jackson finished with 20, Sapala with 17. For the Bobcats, Seleni led the way with 15, and Maria Keeley scored double digits for her second straight. Amid the losing streak and key players being out to injury, the Bobcats have needed to find new ways to win. Q30's Ben Rickovicius has more.
After starting MAAC play 3-0, the Quinnipiac women's basketball team have dropped their fourth consecutive MAAC game on Saturday to the Siena Saints. How can this young Bobcats team find their way back to a win streak?
In their last two home games against Fairfield and Siena, the Bobcats trailed their opponents by 7 points at halftime. However, the games got out of hand during the second half. Head coach Tricia Fabry's solution for battling through and keeping these games close, playing as a unit.
With our all five working together for the execution instead of, freestyling and trying to get a bucket. It's it's that a little bit of young, and I want to try and make a play here as opposed to let's make the pass that gets to the play that leads to the best offense.
While the Bobcats have scored only 20 or more points once in the last 8 quarters of basketball, one solution to their scoring woes is to capitalize on the fast break. In their last 2 games, they've only scored 9 points on the break.
The last 2 games, while we've been, really working defensively in different schemes, we've really got to take some real pride in our defensive effort and getting stops and just not fouling and giving up easy buckets when we could try and close a gap.
In addition to missing captain Jackie Grisdale due to her season-ending injury, the Bobcats were also without sophomore forward Ella O'Donnell for the first time this season on Saturday. Even without 2 of her star players, Fabry's message to the young roster is simple: control what you can control.
Be better through this. Handle the hard, which I think we've done. And then, we've had to handle a setback overnight, but handle the hard better. We're not a full where we would be, but that's the way the game is. Handle it better. Let's handle our business better on what we can control, regardless of who we don't have the services of right now.
The Bobcats will look to get back into the win column against the Marist Red Foxes this Thursday. I'm Ben Rickovicius, Q30 Sports.
Now it's time to take our first break of the night, but don't go anywhere because coming up on Sports Paws, men's ice hockey looks for their 3rd straight CTI's tournament title. We'll see if the Bobcats were able to keep the crown.
And a women's ice hockey alumnus was named to the U.S. national team to play for her country. All that and more coming up next on Sports Pod.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job. I need a new career.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing.
After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working. I got laid off twice, but you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
I found a medical course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this.
You will find something.
You will find something new.
Welcome back to Sports Paws. If you're just joining us, I'm your co-host Santino Maoni. You can't see him on camera, but joined alongside me is Nick Boyd. In search of their third CTI's championship, the men's ice hockey team began their title defense against the rival Yale Bulldogs. Quinnipiac looking to make it 4 straight trips to the CTI's championship as they take on the Yale Bulldogs in the first round of the CTI's tournament. We're going to jump in late in the first period where Travis Treelor finds Mason Marcellus, who makes a fancy maneuver around Jack Stark to give the Bobcats the early lead. The first year his name has been called upon all season. Another great goal scorer right there.
And that was absolutely filthy to get the puck in the net there.
Most definitely. Entering the second now, Yale looking to get on the board, but Vinny Duplessis loses his stick. Doesn't matter though, able to get the save on the same Yale attack now. The same result happens. Another phenomenal acrobatic save for Duplessis, keeping it a 1-0 lead for the Bobcats. And heading into the third period, there was really no action. Quinnipiac ends up holding on to the win against their in-state rivals, taking the CT Ice semifinals, 1-0 victory. They will play against the Yukon Huskies for the third straight season in the CT Ice Championship. That should be a good one.
Absolutely, Tino. And after that nail-biting win over Yale, the Bobcats will now look to take on Yukon, who crushed Sacred Heart 6-2. Quinnipiac versus Yukon in a rematch of last year's CT Ice final. And in the first, it's the Huskies. Loose puck. Harrison Reese with the one-timer. It connects. He's hyped. Huskies lead by 1 after 1. But in the second, though, Ethan Hyder can't contain the puck. Open net. Mason Marcellus again capitalizes to knock things at a goal apiece. Big-time play for the first year. But the Huskies respond. It's an open ice turnover by the Bobcats. Odd man rush off the power play. And Chase Bradley takes it the distance, slaps it top shelf to put the Huskies back in front.
Turnover leads to a score there.
And Tino, less than 2 minutes later, it happens again. No, you aren't having deja vu, folks. Tabor Heaslip swipes the puck from Legault. Another odd man rush, and he finds Matthew Wood across the crease to make it 3-1. Quinnipiac in a big, big hole. They start to answer later in the second, though. Victor Cherneshkiner up top snipes one from way downtown to make it 3-2. 5th of the year for the sophomore. Later in the second, it's Travis Treelor. As they celebrate there, it's Travis Treelor. He finds Colin Graff, who'll get it to Jaden Lee. He goes back to Treelor, and the one-timer goes. Quinnipiac has tied things up heading into the third period. And here we go in the third. 30 seconds in regulation. Zach Tupper down the ice, fires it through the double team for the go-ahead goal. The Bobcats score 3 unanswered to storm back and win it 4-3.
They channeled their inner Cleveland Cavaliers there with the 3-1 comeback, Nick.
Well, you said that, Tino. Quinnipiac remains the Kings of Connecticut for the 3rd year in a row. After the game, Q30's Gage Kilborn broke down the impact the XL Center had on the fan experience.
The bands, the fans, a new trophy, and an attendance record, all to show the growth of the CT Ice tournament as the attempts to increase fan support is starting to pick up.
I mean, it was loud in there. It was great. It's a great building. I remember coming here all the time to watch the Whale play, you know. So, but yeah, I thought it was excellent. I'm really happy with this year with Connecticut Ice. I thought last year we hosted it. I thought it was excellent. There were sellouts both nights. And I'm not sure if Yale or Sacred Heart's going to host next year, but we're excited to keep this tournament moving forward. It's getting some momentum.
Although Rand is optimistic about the 4-school hosting rotation that was started last season, UConn head coach Mike Cavanaugh believes that the XL Center should be the new home of the tournament.
It was fantastic, and that's why I think the tournament has to stay here. I just don't know why we restrict ourselves and confine ourselves to 3,000 to 4,000 people. You have a building like this, the energy was incredible. 6,500 people or whatever it was. You can't do that in any of our home buildings, right? So I think this should be the permanent home of the tournament. I just don't see any reason why it wouldn't be.
Although Mike Cavanaugh wants the XL Center to host the CT Ice tournament permanently, we will have to wait and see. Reporting from the XL Center, Gage Kilborn, Q30 Sports.
After winning their 3rd straight CT Ice championship, the Bobcats had a few standout players take home some hardware. Starting goaltender Vinny Duplessis was the tournament's most outstanding player, tallying 42 saves on the weekend, while Mason Marcellus and Travis Treelor joined Duplessis on the all-tournament team. Marcellus scored 2 goals in the 2 games, while Treelor had a 3-point weekend, tallying 1 goal and 2 assists. New additions on Rand Pecknold's squad have continued to shine, and this tournament proves no different for the Bobcats. Those weren't the only awards that were won by the Bobcats this past week. On top of the awards won for their performances in the CT Ice tournament, Marcellus was named ECAC Rookie of the Week, and Duplessis was named ECAC Goaltender of the Week. Duplessis earned a shutout in the first round against Yale and tallied 28 saves in the title game, while Marcellus scored 2 goals on the weekend, including the game-winning goal against Yale. Following a busy weekend in Connecticut ice hockey, let's see if Quinnipiac rose or fell in the USCHO poll. The defending national champions had no movement, staying at number 7. However, there still was a lot of movement in the top 8. Boston University dropped from 1 to 3, while Boston College took over the number one spot. North Dakota had the biggest jump of any team in the top 8 as they moved up 3 spots from number 5 to number 2. Quinnipiac finds themselves in yet another precarious poll spot, and a weekend upcoming against Harvard and Dartmouth will be massive to defining the end of their season. Former Quinnipiac women's ice hockey forward Taylor Gerard has been named to the Rivalry Series roster for Team USA. Gerard is joining Team USA before their final 3 games against Canada. Those games will take place on February 7th, February 9th, and February 11th, with the first 2 being in Canada and the last one being in the US. The PWHL was founded this year, but before its existence, Gerard was drafted first overall in the NWHL draft. During the inaugural season of the PWHL, Gerard has scored 2 goals in her first 6 games.
On Friday, the women's ice hockey team took a trip down Whitney Avenue to take on the rival Yale Bulldogs. The Bobcats were upset in overtime by the Bulldogs 2-1. Junior Veronica Box scored the lone goal for Quinnipiac in the second period on a ricochet off the goalie, but it was all Bulldogs from there. El Harchi got one in the third period to tie it, and then in overtime, Karina D'Antonio scored the winner with just 25 seconds to play. It was the Bobcats' 3rd straight loss in ECAC play. Cass Turner's squad then tried to get back on track against the Brown Bears on Saturday. The Bears mauled the Bobcats 4-1, handing Quinnipiac its 4th straight conference loss, the first time since 2018 that the team has lost 4 in a row. 4 different Bears scored goals in the game, and 2 of them were empty netters. Zoe Ewan scored the only goal for the Bobcats in the second period. The Bobcats' record now stands at 21-7-1. They'll look to get back in the win column next Saturday against the Princeton Tigers. After another rough week, how did the Bobcats do in the USCHO poll? The Bobcats came in at 9th in the nation this week, only dropping 1 spot. It's the team's lowest position in the poll since November. Ohio State received all 20 first-place votes this week, while Wisconsin remains at number 2. ECAC foes Colgate and Clarkson swapped spots at 3 and 4, while St. Lawrence jumps the Bobcats into the top 8. We've got plenty more to cover tonight. The women's lacrosse team announced their captains for the upcoming season. We'll see who new head coach Jordan Christopher decided to go with.
Plus, the best time of the night, Nick, top 5 plays. And I think I know which one is at 1 this week, but we'll be right back after this.
Should be fun. Stay with us.
Meet the Scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you!
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life, but how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have prediabetes, a serious medical condition that puts you at high risk for type 2 diabetes. 1 in 3 American adults has prediabetes, but more than 80% don't know they have it. The good news is, prediabetes can be reversed, and for many people, healthy changes in their daily routine can make a big difference. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Welcome back to Sports Paws. Thanks so much for sticking with us. Grab your rackets because we're talking tennis. Men's tennis made the trip down to Queens on Wednesday to take on St. John's. The Bobcats fell to the Red Storm 7-0 at the UTSA National Tennis Center. Czech graduate student Daniel Valek was the only Bobcat who claimed a set in singles play, as the Red Storm swept 6 singles points. And although Valek and senior Shara Sood won the first doubles match 6-3, the Red Storm rallied and won the next 2 matches to claim the final point. This would not be the team's final matchup of the week, however, as the Bobcats would next face another New York opponent. The Bobcats look to bounce back on Saturday in North Haven against the Hofstra Pride for their first home meet of the season. And bounce back they did, topping the Pride 4-3 in exciting fashion. The Bobcats took a 4-2 lead in singles play as Valek, Japanese senior Ayato Arakaki, German first-year Carlos Broncimo, and senior Donovan Brown all notched victories in straight sets. The women's team would also go on to win their first match of the season 5-2, as Anga Shankar and Ella Lewis shined for the Bobcats in their first win of the season. And the Bobcats then took the Battle of Whitney to the courts on Sunday against Yale. Yale defeated Quinnipiac 6-1 on Sunday, with Broncimo taking home the Bobcats' only singles victory of the day. Valek and Sood claimed their second doubles match of the season, but it wasn't enough as the Bobcats won the point over the final 2 matches. Quinnipiac will continue its winter season with 2 meets at home against Temple and St. Michael's this weekend as they continue their non-conference schedule.
This past weekend, indoor women's track and field tallied 13 personal bests over their 2-day meet at the Dr. Sander Invitational Columbia Challenge 2024. Of the 13 recorded personal bests, 5 of them finished in the top 10. Rachel St. Germain recorded a personal best time of 16 minutes and 37 seconds in the 5K, which ranks 3rd on the program's top 10 list. Corinne Barney finished the 5K in a collegiate best time of 16 minutes and 53 seconds, good for 6th on the all-time charts. Lauren Selkin also PR'd in the 5K, clocking in at 17 minutes and 11 seconds, good enough for 10th on the program's top 10 list. With lacrosse season right around the corner, the captains for women's lacrosse have been announced. The 4 captains on this year's squad are Amy Nikoloff, Melissa Murphy, Kaylee Moore, and Corinna Lyon. Nikoloff had the best season of her career in her senior season, putting up a career-high 18 points, scoring 13 goals and racking up 5 assists. Despite it being her first year with the Bobcats, Loyola Maryland transfer Corinna Lyon will look to make a positive impact on her new squad as the Bobcats begin their first season under new head coach Jordan Christopher. The season hasn't begun yet, but it's never too early to hand out some awards to the men's lacrosse team. 4 players were named to the preseason All-MAAC team. Graduate attackers John DeLucia and Jake Tellers headlined the selections, followed by senior midfielder Stephen Germain and sophomore long stick midfielder Ryan Downing. DeLucia and Germain were top 2 in points last season, putting up 52 and 47 points respectively. The Bobcats begin their season in Queens against the St. John's Red Storm on February 10th. Well, Nick, I mentioned it before the break. It's time to look at our top 5 plays from this week.
Absolutely, Santino. I'll throw you the lob. Let's roll.
Starting off, play number 5. We go to hockey. Treelor over to Graf, spinorama pass to Lee, back to Treelor for the slap shot one-timer. What a shot by Treelor there.
A gorgeous puck movement by the Bobcats. How about a gorgeous shot? Play 4. Carson Martin gets trapped, weaves left, banks it in off 1 foot to beat the buzzer.
Did you say circus shot?
Let's look again. 1 foot, lefty Tino, off balance, glass, nylon.
Number 3, back to the ice. Yale trying to take the advantage over Quinnipiac, but Logan Andres went to Kembe Mutombo on him twice. Look at this second save. Gets the stick out there, deflects it. Amazing save.
Play 2, back to the hardwood. Ella O'Donnell drives, takes the contact, tosses up a prayer, and hits the bucket. That play was on SportsCenter, Tino.
Number 1, though, this should be on SportsCenter. Matt Belanc with the game winner against Fairfield. We're going to slow it down here. Gets the ball on his hip, almost loses it. Scoop shot for the win. What a shot by the graduate captain.
Had
Amazing.
the ball gathered on his hip like a running back. Fantastic play. He always comes up clutch. I thought the game tire was a technically more impressive shot, though. I mean, you said it earlier. He was horizontal in the air.
He went baseline, came up. You literally, if you freeze framed it, he was horizontal. And Belanc struggling earlier in the game, his ability to be able to show up when it matters most, that's what a graduate captain gives you.
And when he's driving with the ball, so physical.
Exactly. That's all the time we have tonight, though, on Sports Paws. I got to say, though, it was a pretty fun first show back, Nick.
I would have to agree with you. The desk's always a fun place to be, Tino. But this show wouldn't be possible without the hard work of the producers and everyone else behind the scenes. So thank you to them, and also make sure to follow us on social media at Q30 Sports and stay connected online at Q30TV.com. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next Monday. Stay classy, Bobcats.